Hello and welcome to On the Floor. I'm David Locke.
I'm Ron Boone.
What just happened? He had to swallow. How are you? All right, let's flip this baby around. There's Rajon Tucker doing dribbling drills with Brian Bailey, Jazz assistant. George Niang lighting it up over here. Donovan Mitchell working with Lamar Skeeter instead of Johnny Bryant tonight because Johnny Bryant has the scout. Let's take a look around the arena. Justin Zanuck, Jazz GM over there with some cool green socks. Andrew Mealy, part of the Jazz front office staff right over there. Anthony Simons, who's struggling miserably with his shot right now and struggling in his second year after high expectations. There's the great Thurl Bailey. You can catch him on AT&T Sportsnet with Craig Bolerjack, the Sportscaster of the Year. And that's all the interesting stuff we have for you, so we'll go back to this. The Jazz, get ready. Ron, Jazz have dropped 3 in a row as they come in here. Blazers have won 3 in a row. Huge win last night in L.A. When you look at the 3 losses, do you see a common thread that's concerning, or do you kind of look at them each as one-offs?
I see some adjustment that the Jazz are probably going to have to make, David, from the way teams are playing the Jazz right now. The scouting system for every team in the NBA is different, and what they're doing to the Jazz now is probably something different that they haven't had to deal with all season long. And they're going to have to make some adjustments to the type of lineups that the Jazz, that opponents are putting on the floor with them.
Well, the big story for the Jazz, Mike Conley back in the starting lineup tonight. It does make the rotation really different, depending what you want to do with it and how you're going to do it. So the Jazz will try to figure that out tonight. It'll be interesting to see the different things they do and who's the first guy out. Do you still play Donovan in 3 stints? Do Mike and Rudy just match each other all the time? Do Bojan and Donovan separate? It's a tricky little equation that's new because it's a new starting lineup the Jazz haven't used this year.
And also, David, there's something to having to put some offensive pressure on the defense of other teams. And a perfect example is just take Denver, or one of the 3 teams that we played against. They have 2 guards that just flat out get after you. And if we don't have another guard, one of our guards besides Donovan, that's putting some offensive pressure on those guys, they're just playing offense. So maybe that will help and get to the point where that rotation is back intact and the Jazz can start shutting down teams. I don't think the offense is the problem right now. Just defense is struggling.
So that's an interesting comment you're making. So basically, teams have been hiding players on Royce ONeale because he's not an offensive-minded player.
Right.
And you're thinking that that's leading them to be able to have some of these big offensive nights.
Absolutely. They know that, and if you look at Royce ONeale's shot chart, it's strictly from the 3-point line. And then he'll drive to the basket, nothing from mid-range. So they start defending players a certain way, and then they know that he's not going to, he passes up more shots than he takes.
It'll be interesting to see. If you were building the rotation for this team, do you have combinations do you think that you have to have either Royce or Joe on the floor defensively? Do you think you have to have some combination of Bojan, Donovan, Jordan on the floor offensive, Mike on the floor offensively? What's your thought?
Yeah, that is definitely the case. And coaches, they know these things. They'll figure out these things. And when they start looking at a healthy basketball team, they start figuring out, or they have to figure out for the most part, and I know we focus so much on offense, about guys playing well together offensively, but, defensively there as well. So there's some sacrifices that coaches have to make in situations like that, but they also, that's just something that coaches have to do. They have to make sure that they have the right combination out there for offensively and defensively, whatever works for them.
Damian Lillard. What's your thoughts on what he's doing right now? He's only averaging 46 points a game in the last 4 games?
Probably one of the best commercials on TV is when he's at ESPN and he's looking at his calendar, and this calendar says Dame time. And the remedy, what am I looking for? To that is that it's always Dame time. So what do? I got a pretty good idea, but I'm not
Did you hear the trash talk between him and Russell Westbrook the other night?
I'm not surprised at that.
So they obviously they go back. So the other night, Westbrook tries to post up Dame. And Dame's battling, and then he turns him in on Dame, just fouls the crap out of him. Just fouls him hard. And Westbrook's walking back the line going, automatic 2, and Dame's yells at him, 60% free throw shooter. And Westbrook says something back to him, like automatic or 80% or something. He misses the first, and Dame yells at him and goes, 50% free throw shooter. And Westbrook yells back at him, what's your seed in the playoff race? And Dame goes, you don't want to see me in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Game over.
Game time.
Right?
Yes,
like,
right.
Game, you know you don't want to see me in the playoffs. Game time, right there.
A classic wave goodbye to you.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Love those little stories inside
How
the
about
league.
that? How good is that to have a rival?
Yeah.
Someone that...
And evidently they're pretty cool with each other, like, otherwise. I don't know if you can have that heated rivalry and be going out for dinner together, but, like, they're evidently fairly decent with each other. There was I guess Westbrook got into it with Dame's security guy and during a game or something, and the Dame's security guy jumped up and yelled, Dame's my guy! And Westbrook goes, he's mine too! like, you know, you're willing to have a rivalry.
That's healthy. I'm glad to hear that. That's healthy. I mean, as long as they're not throwing blows and trying to hurt each other, that's a classic rival.
Right.
And it all started in the playoffs last year when Damian had to take it to him, and then he waved goodbye.
Dame got his first triple-double of his career the other day against Houston. In the midst of this, he could have probably had another one. And I loved the other one, like whether it's trash talk or not. Dame was asked about his first triple-double after the game. You know what he said? Doesn't really matter to me.
Oh, yeah.
Triple-doubles don't really matter to me. Like, oh, dagger! You lived your whole career trying to get triple-doubles. All you care about. Kind of classic stuff. All right, fun times here. That's On the Floor. Hope you're having a good one. Joe Ingles doing a shooting. Joe's in a slump, and he stopped talking to us. I just want to point this out.
We better make sure we point that out to him because...
I'll give him one last chance if he wants to say hi to us tonight when he comes by here in a second. But I think he's done with his dribble outs, and we were standing a little bit on this side of the floor. So, you know what's funny about Joe's season? So he started poorly. He went bananas. Now he's struggling a little bit. You know what his three-point shooting is?
What?
40.8%. You know what his career average is? 40.8%. So through it all.
So you can't really say he's in a slump.
No, he's right on his. Oh, here comes Mr. Friendly. Sauntering up to the.
Look at those pecks.
Are you pecking out for us, Terry Crews? All right, that's our show. There's Brooke. Look at Brooke. Brooke, say hi to Utah. Brooke is the great sideline reporter for the Portland Trailblazers.
We go way back.
We do. We go way back.
Yeah.
She's
Way back where?
She's
Way back to Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest love.
And we're still friends.
I know, but that's only because you're nice to me for no particular reason. I admire you greatly. You just really feel like it's a sympathy thing. I got it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay.
No, you are one of the best in the business.
What was last night like?
Last night was tough, but I put on Instagram that I felt honored to be a part of it. So it was difficult, but I was just so impressed with the way the players responded. I mean, obviously it took a while for them to get warmed up, which is expected, but they played. Obviously Dame had an amazing third quarter.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's doing okay for himself.
Yeah, I think that Dame guy's pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad, so I don't know.
Pretty good guy to get the post-game interview all the time, too. It's like ours.
I'm the luckiest.
No, like you have the same thing we have. Somebody asked me who my favorite people on our team to talk to are, and I was like, Rudy and Donovan.
Yeah, which is like
they're like the best. Like they're always good. They're all like, how great is that? Like you have the same thing.
I say that
CJ
all
and Dame,
the time.
right?
I say that usually, not usually, but sometimes at times the best player on another team can be the most difficult to get because of, just like put in for an interview, put in for a request, and for us, it's because he's
That's right. This guy's unbelievable.
This guy right here.
Yeah, this guy's unbelievable.
What do you think he's listening to right now?
I don't know. I always want to ask him that.
But he can't hear you.
No. And I don't want to bother him.
You can ask him.
You know what he is, though? It's interesting. He's a little smaller. But I heard I asked Terry Stotts about Dame 3 years.
Right.
It's because that's him. That's so
it's probably not quite the same, but he's a little smaller,
Oh, he does amazing things.
but it'll be interesting to watch.